So we are quickly approaching the deadline to file your taxes. If you're filing as an individual, you do have until April 30th. If you're self-employed, the deadline to file is June 17th. Some important dates for you there. Today, we are teaming up with our friends at TurboTax for some advice for people who are self-employed. TurboTax expert and CPA Jami Monte joins me now. Great to have you back.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's talk about self-employed. When is someone considered under this title, self-employed?
When you are selling a product or service with the intention of creating a profit, then CRA looks at you as self-employed and you need to file as self-employed. So that could be doing a full-time small business, or it could be having a side gig or freelancer income, a contract role, those types of things, they all fall under that self-employed umbrella.
If you're getting money and it's not from your regular employer, even as a side gig, self-employed.
Yes.
So let's look at the GST and HST obligations. There are some minimum amounts that a business needs to make before someone needs to register for these GST, HST business numbers. What can you tell us here?
If you have made over $30,000 or you've hit $30,000 in sales from your self-employment earnings, so not from employment, but just from your side gig or your small business, then you need to register for GST or HST, depending where you're at. So that's $30,000 in 4 consecutive quarters. So it's a rolling 4 quarters. So at this time, it's a good time to look at what happened last year in 2023 when you file. Were you close to that $30,000 mark? If so, you might have to register and start collecting sales tax.
Okay, there are many benefits we know for people who are self-employed. So let's start with business operating expenses. What do people need to know here?
When you have a business and you're spending money on expenses in order to help generate more income or run your business, then these expenses are generally mostly deductible from your income to help reduce the income that you're going to be taxed on. Think about things like your advertising costs, dues and subscriptions, office supplies, to even your cell phone bill or internet costs. You can see a full listing of what's included in these operating expenses on the CRA website, and TurboTax also has a guide on it on their site as well.
Okay, that's amazing. You want to make sure you don't miss any single one of those because you want the deduction if
right?
it's available to you. What are
Absolutely.
what are some examples of items that people pay for and can write off?
Oh my gosh, we love a nice personal, you're already spending money personally on these things, so how do we claim it in the business? We're talking home office expenses or vehicle expenses. Those are things that we pay for personally, but we could potentially write off. For your vehicle, if you're using your car for your business in the year, then you can claim a portion of your vehicle costs that relate to the total distance you're driving for business in the year compared to for personal. So keeping a mileage log is how you're gonna know what percentage of those costs you can claim. And then for home office, it's a great one as well, especially we know things are a bit expensive these days, so might as well claim the costs of your rent. And how you can do this is you take a portion of your housing costs, and most of those you'll be able to claim. And if, for example, you had a 5-bedroom home and 1 bedroom was related to your office, so you had 1 bedroom designated as your office, then you could claim potentially 20% of your rent or utilities, those types of things.
Jami, there's a lot to remember here, so I imagine there's help available if you need it.
Yes, there is a lot to remember in terms of deductions, credits, all these rules and the deadlines, and that's where using an online tax solution like TurboTax can really help. I would say if you are self-employed, if you had a side gig last year, consider using TurboTax Live Assistant Review, where you can get unlimited help and guidance from a tax expert as you prepare your return, and they'll even do a final review of your filing before you submit it, so you can really feel confident that you're doing things right.
Amazing. Jami, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thanks for having me back.
Your morning is brought to you in part by TurboTax. Make your moves. We'll make them count.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.